HAARP project. Excerpt from the FIGU Bulletin No. 13 Volume 4, January 1998. HAARP is the abbreviation for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project. The name of this American project camouflages the fact that it has the potential for being a greater catastrophe for mankind than the creation of the atomic bomb. The truth of the matter is that the HAARP installation can be used to wage a science fiction type battle. We are dealing here with a reckless experiment. Under the guise of the harmless sounding name of HAARP, the American government is planning to bombard the sky with energy rays from a vast installation of antennas. These energy rays will then be reflected back to Earth from the ionosphere as electric waves of an extremely low frequency ELF. This process is capable of transforming these ELF waves into a very insidious weapon, for these ELF vibrations are able to penetrate the brains of people and animals if the vibrations are aimed in their direction. This will not only immobilize the victims, preventing them from performing any movement or act of defense, but will also render them insane as well. A useful tool for the military, these waves can also penetrate walls of brick and steel. ELF frequencies improve radio contact and reception, even those within thick bunkers and atomic submarines. ELF vibrations can penetrate the Earth's surface and detect hidden bunkers. ELF waves can be used to track down and pinpoint missiles, airplanes and other flying craft even on the other side of the globe. ELF frequencies can entirely block electronic devices and radio waves of the enemy. These capabilities present, however, merely one facet of HAARP's technology. Possible side effects that are just as frightening must also be considered. The fact is that, to date, no one completely understands how the ionosphere will react when it is impacted by these energy rays. We must bear in mind that the ionosphere is very fragile. Together with the ozone layer, it protects the planet Earth and all life forms from the deadly rays of outer space. It is definitely possible that the additional energy beams emitted by the HAARP program will not only disturb but actually destroy the sensitive system and the protective ozone layer. Of course, the various military groups and their scientists refuse to acknowledge this danger, as they cheerfully assume that nothing is going to happen. Consequently, they are proceeding with the project despite the warnings, and by the year 2003 there will be 180 antennas that will initiate this madness. Testing is in progress at present, with approximately 60 completed antennas in operation. At the foothills of Alaska's mountain range, a forest of antennas is being built as a test site for radio warfare. Here is how it is supposed to work. Above the ozone layer lies the fragile ionosphere, a gaseous stratum enriched with electric particles called ions. Scientists intend to heat up this ionosphere by using HAARP's powerful antennas so that bundled, high-frequency radio waves can be shot into designated areas of the ionosphere. In turn, this will create artificially curved ion clouds which can function much like optical lenses. These lenses will be used to reflect the low-frequency ELF waves. These vibrations can be used to determine the fix of an airplane, for example, but they are also useful for other disturbing and deadly objectives. They can be aimed at other regions on the Earth's surface, depending on the angle at which the radio frequencies are reflected back from the ion lenses. A long time ago, Mars lost its atmosphere. The same fate could soon threaten the Earth. The result of irresponsible and deranged Americans who must also take the blame for the most destructive insanity of World War II, the atomic bomb. The U.S. government is trying to pacify everyone by claiming that HAARP represents a purely scientific experiment, but the truth is that HAARP camouflages an enormous ray weapon project. The antennas constitute a gigantic, new potential advantage for the military elite, while at the same time they present an immense potential danger for the entire planet and all of its life forms. The obligatory environmental study for the HAARP project warns of the possibility of changes to the ionosphere that could influence the ozone layer, among other things. Interestingly enough, this study was not done by the American Environmental Protection Agency (EPA), but rather by the U.S. Air Force and the U.S. Navy. It should not come as a surprise, then, that in reality, the American military intends bombarding the ozone layer and the ionosphere with this ray weapon. After all, the Americans have always wanted to be the greatest and most powerful nation on Earth. However, it is self-evident that blame cannot be placed on those American people who are against this program and who have sincere, positive human intentions. They are likewise not responsible for certain sickening elements who have the say, as well as the fact that other people are bound to jump on that group's bandwagon. In spite of all this, the question remains why such a risk is being knowingly undertaken with this kind of uncontrollable chain reaction within the confines of both the ozone layer and the ionosphere. The answer is twofold: job creation for the military, as well as participating large and small businesses. HAARP is a money-generating entity which has inherent power from the implementation of its weaponry. HAARP technology can unleash a force which cannot even be remotely matched by any potential adversary. Until now, all nuclear attack scenarios included several nuclear explosive devices with high electromagnetic pulses (EMP), which were detonated at high altitudes. Using HAARP as a weapon, the same result can be achieved even without atomic energy. However, HAARP is capable of doing much more, for it can penetrate deep below the Earth's surface where, for example, oil deposits or the previously mentioned secret bunkers can be located. The fact that certain types of radiation are not only dangerous but actually deadly for human beings, plants and animals is simply accepted without scruples. Although HAARP can be utilized as a super radar device and, simultaneously, as a destructive device against flying craft, there exists no justification for jeopardizing the lives of all humanity, animals and plants, indeed the very existence of the planet. This fact seems irrelevant to the military elite, large corporation executives and the people with power within the U.S. government. On the contrary, these groups actually seem pleased they are neither violating agreements to discontinue nuclear testing, which hardly anyone follows anyway, nor the anti-ballistic defense systems or disarmament. They are furthermore pleased their criminal endeavors have escaped worldwide notice until now, because their activities have been kept nearly a total secret and because the general public is simply not paying attention to this situation. Ray guns and microwave wars are almost a reality, yet man cannot afford to lose the ozone layer or any other stratum enveloping the world, let alone his own life and that of the plants and animals. Humanity cannot afford to jab away at the atmosphere with gigantic gigawatt devices that gouge the Earth's surrounding atmospheres, let alone to disturb, even destroy their harmony. At the very least, the wounds inflicted to these atmospheres through this insanity will never heal and will put all earthly life into jeopardy, perhaps forever.